All right, so for starters, I'm going to share this screen, and there we go. Okay, so all right, so just kind of get things started out. I want to tell everybody welcome to the people that are attending here today and those that will watch this later. Um, my name is Professor Charles Adams, and I want to describe to you this program that we have coming up, that we're going to talk about today. This trip to Europe to explore and experience the liberation of France, right? So I just want to start with a little bit about me. My name is, like I said, I'm Professor Charles Adams. I'm a professor of history at North Central Texas College. I've been teaching, I've been a professor for about a decade now, but prior to that, I was an engineer. I was a software and systems engineer. I did a lot of work in counterterrorism, and about 10 years ago now, I took a vow of poverty to become a historian. I wanted to take a different route in my life, and so that had me start teaching instead. And I've never regretted a minute of it. As far as travel goes and what it means to me, it's very important. As you can see, I have it on the slide here. I've been traveling. I put on here 1992. That's when I've really been traveling abroad. I mean, before that, when I was a teenager and stuff, maybe we'd go to Canada or to Mexico or something like that. But beginning about the age of 22 was the first time I ever took any real trip overseas. And it just, especially when you're younger and stuff like that, it's just a great experience to go out there and just kind of see the world, experience the world, get to see the things that you don't see, especially us as Americans. We just don't kind of see the cultures and the way other people live. We always hear about it and we read about it, but it's just so very different to actually experience it, right? My first travel experiences were actually just cruise ships. I mean, that was the thing that my mother was actually really hooked on them, and she always managed to find ways to get these really crazy deals on them. And so I'd end up in the Caribbean for a week. But when I met my wife, is from where I'm from. I'm from New Mexico originally, but she's lived a long time in Ireland. And so as a result, of course, we have a lot of really close connections to Ireland. And so we try and get back there whenever we can to visit our family and friends. And there's just, there's just something about that that's always just been so appealing to me. Any chance that I can get to just get out there and experience the world, I'm just all over it. And I've found it very important for my children as well. Every single one of my children, as a graduation gift, I've sent them somewhere. The oldest one, he wanted to go to Australia, so I sent him to Australia. I actually got him a job on a dairy farm in Australia for the summer. He wasn't too happy about me getting him a job, but but when it was all done, he got to experience something new. It was really fantastic for him. My daughter, I sent to Japan to go to a anime artist school. And then my son that just graduated, I had him actually scheduled to go to Italy when COVID hit. And so he decided to take things in his own hands, and he joined the Marine Corps. So he's going to get to travel that way instead. The youngest, he wants to go to Russia. We'll figure it out. So why plan for traveling now? For one, I mean, obviously it's something to look forward to, especially when you consider the fact that we've been going through, especially for the last year with COVID, this lockdown. I mean, this has been a time of absolute, I mean, if you're an introvert, this has been your time. This has been your day. All right. But if you're more of an extrovert like I am, this has been a lot of stress. You've been kind of locked in, not getting to interact with people on the level that you normally like to. I mean, for those of you that do know me, you know how much I actually like that face-to-face teaching, because I really get into that. And so this is just something else to kind of look forward to, as we're finally, hopefully really soon here, starting to get things open back up and we can start traveling around and seeing things again. It's also an opportunity, of course, to reconnect with the world that kind of feels distant and remote at this point, and especially connect with things that you haven't seen before, right? By enrolling sooner rather than later, it also presents to you the opportunity to have smaller payments, a more manageable payment plan in order to be able to fund this trip. You know, these things, of course, are not cheap, and so the longer you can plan out, the better off you will be on this. Enrollment right now is risk-free, completely risk-free this spring, right? We have right now, the EF program has a full money-back guarantee with its current enrollments. And the last thing you see here on this PowerPoint, right? It's just an opportunity to start checking things off your bucket list. Is there a place that you've ever wanted to go before and you've never had the opportunity? This is your chance to do this. This particular trip that we're planning, it's one for me. I've never had the opportunity to actually go to the beaches of Normandy. Despite having gone to Europe a few times before, I've never gotten a chance to go to the beaches of Normandy. So it's something that I personally am really looking forward to. So why study abroad? Well, first of all, I mean, it's an opportunity for personal growth. You know, you'll enhance your cultural awareness. Like I said, we as Americans tend to get kind of locked in our own pathways and our own ways of doing things. And so it really is, I think, beneficial for us to see how other people, other cultures think. Those who take my classes, you know, I talk a lot about this, you know, why are we like this, right? And, you know, when, especially when we're talking about the founding of our nation and stuff like that, I talk about that a lot, right? It's a chance for professional growth. You know, you'll be more globally aware. This is really good for resume building, right? It's something that will look really good on a resume. And ultimately, because of this, it will enhance your opportunities to get better salaries, you know, better opportunities for better jobs even, right? It's just something that will open up extra doors for you. And intellectual growth as well, right? A chance to engage with local organizations and a chance for individual reflection as far as, you know, experiencing new things and being able to reflect on what you can learn from that. Educational professional benefits. First of all, like I said, global learning. It's a proven fact that students that study abroad typically see an increase in their GPA. It increases twice as quickly as people who do not. And it's more of that, just kind of that global awareness. You look at things a little bit differently. 92% of employers are looking for skills and traits that students can develop when studying abroad. So it's beneficial for you in that respect as well. By the way, that's from the McKinsey Global Institute. That's a study done by them. Also from the IES board study from 2015, 93% of students who study abroad enter the workforce are employed within 6 months of graduation, compared to only 49% who did not study abroad. So this is an opportunity for you while you're going to getting your degree right now, create opportunities for when you're out of college to more quickly get the job and preferably the job that you want, right? And then finally, salary, right? Students that travel tend to have higher salaries than students who do not, right? Because you acquired certain skill sets that are beneficial for most employers and things because you're more worldly aware. Right? Some of the student outcomes from traveling abroad. Confidence, curiosity, right? By navigating unfamiliar places and exploring the local culture, you are going to experience things that you've never seen before. And out of that, you will get some intellectual self-reliance, right? You're going to be more confident, right? Empathy and self-awareness, right? You're going to understand different cultures better. Now, at this particular trip, it'll be England and France, right? But there's, you know, opportunities there to learn more about these European cultures, right? And have a little bit of empathy towards their attitudes, right? Global perspective and cultural knowledge, identifying how to engage appropriately in culturally diverse contexts. That's something that a lot of people don't really learn. It's very difficult to learn that without travel, right? there's certain things that we do that are our cultural norms that are in other cultures are absolutely taboos, right? Even offensive. One of my favorite ones, this has to do with Japan. If you are ever handed a business card in Japan, do not put it in your wallet, right? You do not want to do that, because then of course, where's your wallet go? Your wallet goes in your back pocket, and that's an insult. You've basically taken their card and you've put it against your butt. And to them, that is a pretty big insult. And so, cultural knowledge is very important. And really, you can study about it, you can read about it, but the best way to really understand it is to experience it. And then finally, adaptability and relatability, right? Embracing and adopting local cultures, you get to learn more about the world at large, and maybe learn more about yourself. Right. So what is this trip? The trip that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a trip that's a 9-day program that explores World War II and the liberation of France. So we will be going to England and France. From a historical standpoint, we're taking a look at a time period from when Nazi Germany had occupied France, had turned the northern portion into an occupation zone. The southern portion they had turned into a puppet state called Vichy France. And England was effectively standing alone, essentially standing alone against the Nazis, right? And so as the war went on the Western Front, eventually with American involvement, you're going to have an attempt by American, British, Canadian, and forces from all other places to liberate France with the Normandy invasion, right? So the places we would go on this trip is we would begin in London, and from there we would travel to the beaches of Normandy, where on June 6, 1944, the 5 beaches of Normandy were landed by these 13 different nations that were involved in the landing. From there, we'll travel to the city of Rouen, and then finally on to Paris. What can we expect to see and do? Well, when we're in London, we're going to explore London, right? And this bullet point really doesn't do it justice, right? We'll take a World War II themed guided tour of London. That's handled through the people here at EF. They've got a fantastic group of guides that'll help us along with that. That'll allow us to see London at large, including Trafalgar Square, things like that, and all of them very historically relevant to the build up to the D-Day landings. Trafalgar Square, for example, during the Blitz, there's some great radio programs you can listen to of Edward Murrow talking in the darkness of the Blitz, and he's trying to give a radio broadcast at the same time while bombs are falling on London. We'll visit the cabinet war rooms where Churchill and the British planned to defeat Hitler and Nazi Germany. Visit the Imperial War Museum, which has a lot of different items on World War II and World War I for that matter as well. It's a fantastic museum. After our tour there in London, we will then board a ferry that will take us along the pathway to the beaches of Normandy, right, where we will land near the beaches where the troops themselves landed. We won't actually get to go into a Higgins boat and drop in there and dive onto the beach itself. That would be really cool, but I don't think we can probably pull that off. I might have to see what we can do about that. Probably not. That would be a lot of fun, but we'll do the next best thing, right? We'll come in there to a ferry. We'll explore the Normandy beaches. We'll visit Point du Hoc, which is which is a high point there on Omaha Beach, where U.S. Special Forces had to climb this cliff to literally dislodge the Germans from that defensive position. From there, we'll move on to the city of Rouen, where we'll visit their cathedral. We will take a cruise on the Seine River, and we'll get a tour of Paris, right, once we arrive in Paris. There we'll see all kinds of things like the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe. We'll get to visit the Shoah Holocaust Memorial Museum. That's something that I personally, again, is very excited about. Again, those of you who know me know that I've done some writing on the Holocaust, but from the Eastern perspective. And so for me, it's going to be kind of an interesting look at the Western perspective of the Holocaust and see how they captured the entire thing. And then, of course, we'll be enjoying the local food and flair and the cuisine, and those of you, again, if you know me, obviously know I like to eat, so that's going to be a lot of fun no matter what. And of course, one of my favorite things in traveling abroad, and I'll tell all of you this now, is I love to eat where the locals eat. I love to do that. I do not like to go to touristy restaurants. I love to find the local cuisine because more often than not, the food there is just 10 times better than anything you'll find anywhere else. All right, so when do we plan on going? We're planning on leaving on May 15th, 2022. So that's a little bit over a year from now, right? Today being April 15th, 2021, right? Tax day, or as I like to call it, the day Lincoln died. That's a little bit more cheerful than tax day. So this 9-day program is going to take us, tentatively leaving the 15th and then returning on the 23rd of May. There is a little bit of flexibility in that, right? Just in case, you never know what might happen on these things and stuff. If something was to happen to where we had to shift the date a day or two, of course, we would certainly let everybody know well in advance of that, right? Our partners with this, like I said, this is being done, I represent, of course, North Central Texas Colleges. We do this, but I'm doing this through EF Education. These guys have a lot of experience doing these trips, right? They're a world leader in international education. More than 1 million students experience their programs each year. Obviously with COVID, I'm sure you guys had a drop this year, but of course, we're expecting that to come back up. Over 55 years of experience. They've worked with over 600 schools and offices. They've gone to 114 different countries, of course, including France and England. They organize all the travel and the logistics and the details. We don't have to deal with any of that, right? We have people who are professional and know exactly what to do and have all the points of contact really that you need, and they will be handling that. They're experts in safety and building a study abroad programs, right? They're exactly who we would want to be with in one of these things, right? Because they know how to make sure that we do this and we do it in a safe manner. And they have a proven safety record during this COVID crisis as well, right? And all the changes that had to take place and all the adjustments that have resulted from doing it, right? EF provides our group with a personal 24/7 personal tour director, right? A local presence and safety teams in every country that we're in. They provide us with 24-hour emergency real-time incident response in case, God forbid, anything does happen. We have people that are there able to react to this immediately, right? They have enhanced safety measures and protocols to align with the COVID standards of the nations that we go to, right? They have the COVID care promise, which if I go down to my notes on that one. The COVID care promise states that in the event that someone starts to show any signs or symptoms of COVID, that they have a coverage plan to ensure safe health measures for them, reuniting them with their family and getting them home safely, right? Like I said, hopefully we will not have to ever even need to consider that. My knock on wood hope is that by May of 2022 that we have globally reached herd immunity and we can start getting to our new normal. But it's there and we need to have that there, and EF has it covered, right? They also support my own safety policies. Like I said, my own policies is that as we travel, the safety of the students that travel with me are the #1 priority, right? We want to make sure this is a safe and enjoyable trip for everybody that goes. Okay. All right. So next part, let's talk about the details, the nitty gritty, what's included. Let's talk about the value and talk about the payment options and things like that. So first up, here's what's included, right? First of all, included with this package is the round trip airfare to all on all major carriers to our destinations that we'll be going to. Any kind of travel, things like, for example, the ferry trip to Normandy. Safe, quality hotel rooms, right, that are relatively close to the locations that we will be visiting. Bilingual tour directors will be with us 24/7. Right, that's going to be good. Obviously, in England, that's probably not going to be a huge issue, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, like I've told some of my students here, right? I speak English and I speak German. I speak neither of them well. So, in France, that's going to be really useful to have somebody there that is bilingual to help us with communications, right? All transportation is covered while abroad. Cultural and educationally blended itinerary is included with the EF package, along with guided tours and activities. Matter of fact, one thing that's on the itinerary that I didn't mention is on the last day in Paris. It's kind of a free day, but there's going to be a tour of the palace at Versailles that's conducted in that. Something else I personally really am looking forward to, right? Authentic breakfasts and select dinners, right? 24/7 emergency support, and help with travel prep and funding. This is everything that's included and is inclusive. What you would be responsible for as the traveler is you would be responsible, of course, for obtaining your passport and paying for any of the visa fees. Any airport baggage fees that apply, you'll have to pay, that you'll be responsible for. Most carriers do have a baggage allotment with their airline. It's just if you go over that, I mean, I'm not worried about that myself because Hawaiian shirts are light and I can pack a lot of them. So I can travel pretty light that way. Lunches and snacks, you know, they do cover breakfast and select dinners, right? But lunches or snacks as we're traveling around, that'll be your responsibility. That's obviously something I'm going to be taking advantage of trying out just little local bites to eat. Any spending money, any souvenir money, things like that, you'll have to cover yourself. And then the tips for the tour directors as well. Typically, there's typically you want to tip these different people that have come and helped you through each step of the process, right? So how can you make this happen? Well, there's flexible payment options that are available. First of all, just to sign up, there's a $95 deposit to sign up, right? And then from there, you have multiple options on how to pay for this. You can pay on a bi-weekly schedule that will cost $135 every 2 weeks, or you can pay on a monthly schedule that's $270. Or if you have the funds available, you can pay for the entire thing up front for $3,600, and that covers the entire thing, right? That's the entire cost of it. That's why I'm saying the earlier you sign up for it, the easier the payment is if you have to make payments, because the closer you get to the date of travel, that biweekly and that monthly number creeps up, right? And so you definitely want to try and make this as affordable as possible. And that's why I'm trying to give you over a year of planning time before we would actually go. Okay. EF has a risk-free enrollment period going on right now. It allows you to enroll right now worry-free. With the risk-free enrollment period, if you sign up for the program by May 1st, 2021, by paying in full or by enrolling in and remaining in good standing with one of the payment programs, you have the option to cancel the tour for any reason by August 1st, 2021, right? This is a 100% money back program. This is something that's kind of COVID kind of brought this around, and it's kind of a nice little perk that I guess, I mean, if you can say there's any perk from COVID, I guess this is the only one, right? If you sign up before May 1st and you're making payments on it, let's say, you know, you're still in good standings with it, but then by the end of July, you realize, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. You can request a refund and you'll get every dollar back, including the $95 deposit, right? You'll get it back in its entirety. So it's a good time to take advantage of this program. Oops, click that out of my way. There's also the Global Travel Protection Program. There's 2 different levels of protection they offer that cover you in the event of illness or flight delays or lost baggage. Now, I will say this, that any payment in the travel protection programs that you make is not covered by the money back guarantee. That's a separate thing. It's basically, it's travel insurance. When I was young, they used to have that at the airport all the time, this little vending machine you actually went to fill out flight insurance, which I always thought was kind of crazy. But you know, for some people though, this is really important. For me, it always seemed kind of strange because I was always just flying from like one city right to another, and then that was it, right? But if you're on an extended travel program, you might want to have some kind of global travel protection, because you know, the risk of possibly losing your luggage or whatever when you're overseas, right? So how can you make this happen? First of all, there's several different programs out there. There are 24 scholarships given annually to EF students traveling. You can check under the different scholarship programs. You could set up personal program donation pages, you know, to try and get people to help donate, to help you pay for this if you can't do so yourself. And then you can also utilize, EF gives you access to all kinds of different resources to help you budget or fundraise. They have all kinds of programs in place to help you plan for this, right? They are the ones with the experience in doing these trips, and they're obviously the most obvious point of contact to discuss how can I work around funding this, right? And so EF is definitely the guys you want to get a hold of when it comes to this, and take advantage of some of their programs. Right now, one program they have is there's a $200 discount that's in place if you enroll before the end of April, right? Before April 30th. Matter of fact, I think that's on the slide here coming up. So when you take a look at this is really an investment in yourself, just to kind of, you know, capture all of this, right? This is an opportunity for you to travel, one that doesn't always come around all the time. It's always something good to take advantage of, a chance to travel. The one thing you find is life begins to happen. It gets harder and harder to do, right? You know, when my wife and I had children, obviously our travel days became a lot more limited, or at least a lot more restricted. I mean, it wasn't trips to Ireland anymore. It was trips to Disneyland, if we could do anything at all. And if you're a parent going to Disneyland, you know that that is just not where you want to be. The kids want to be there, but that's not where you want to be. You'd rather be somewhere else, right? It's an opportunity to, you know, for your own personal growth and professional development. It can help you get a job. It can help you get out of your own bubble and thrive, you know, get out there and experience the world, right? And the programs balance course objectives with once in a lifetime experiences, right? Okay, so right now on the program that I have, there are 12 spots available, right? On this particular slide here, you can see here is the enrollment code. If you go to efcts.com, that number for there, 2438766ZR, is the code for my particular travel program, right? You can also go straight to it with that little QR code, right? If you can scan that and make that work. My phone always messes them up. I don't know why, but a lot of people, that works really good. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a $200 enrollment discount. Actually, that thing here says discount in March. It actually should say April. You can see the enrollment scholarship offer ends on Friday, April 30th, 2021. So that's a $200 discount if you enroll before the end of April. So it's something to think about and take advantage of. At least at that point, get enrolled so you can get on the payment program and all that, and get that process started, while the cost is still less per month than it would be if you wait till later. Stay connected, right? Get the best travel inspiration tips, right? Here's some contact points for EF College Studies. There's their Facebook page, their Instagram, their LinkedIn. I'm on, I follow their Facebook because that's one I have to make. I'm old, so I have to make a choice, right? One social media thing. I don't do Twitter. It's too confusing. And so I stick with the one, right? So there's some points of contact. So just to wrap things up, are there any questions anybody has on this? Anything I haven't covered? Anything I missed, Mariah?
No, but I think it's definitely worth reiterating about the worry-free enrollment period. Truly, as you said, this is something that was really designed out of the pandemic. And good news is that the pandemic is progressing in a positive light. So come 2022, we should definitely be able to travel. However, that does mean that they probably won't be extending the worry-free enrollment period at all. So sign up now to take advantage of that.
Right.
I had a quick question. I think on the announcement on Canvas, you said that it would go towards credits. How does that work? I don't know if you mentioned it before.
Yeah. I'm what I do is I've talked to my my department head, and she will allow me to when we travel, I'll effectively be setting up a class. So if you need second half US history or second half world civ, you can get this. What will happen is you'll go on the trip, and then when you get back over that summer, it'll be like a summer 1 course. You'll write an essay that'll cover the trip, and that effectively then will be 3 credit hours towards that class, either world civ or US history. The thing is, you'll still have to pay the tuition for that class, right? That's separate, but it certainly would be a quicker way to get those credit hours there through NCTC.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments? No. Okay. Well, hey, thank you very much. I want to say that I appreciate coming here tonight, and then, like I said, this is going to be posted too, so that you can, others can watch it later and stuff like that. So I want to say thanks to them too for watching this, and hopefully I'll get plenty of you to want to come along. I'm excited to go into Europe. I hope you're excited to want to come with me to Europe, and we'll go storm the beaches there at Normandy.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
All right. Take care. Let me